host. We be your bros.
Tell 'em.
Hottest interviews, highest ranking show.
To another episode of Beer Bros, the podcast. As you know, I'm Anthony Michael, and today we got the king of the red and the blue pill, as always.
Blue pill.
All right, so what's today's topic, Zach?
Today we're going to be talking about how TV shows are just being rebooted again, and it's kind of like whatever.
It's and if it's not rebooted, it's a spin-off.
Yeah,
Look what they
changed-
did with SpongeBob. They freaking had, us growing up, and then they made the Patrick Star Show.
They made a Patrick Star Show.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
I
has
actually
nothing
didn't
to
know
do
that.
with SpongeBob.
Yeah, I remember years. Oh, remember years ago, all those old. But I feel like it's more of like also it's not even just TV shows they're doing. They're also streaming a lot too. Like, remember, I don't know if you remember the old Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys TV show.
Yeah.
So they did. Well, this was years ago. The CW, the station CW took the rights of Nancy Drew, and they did like a more adult, darker version of it. And,
Yes, it didn't last long. I remember it did not last long.
actually, it lasted 4 seasons. It's pretty good.
I thought it was shorter. Oh no, that's just because I stopped watching it.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
thought it was getting
I mean,
bad.
I like the first season was good. The second season was pretty good too. Like, the third one was all right. The fourth one, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is kind of getting a little too hokey now with the supernatural stuff going on. Um, supernatural stuff going on. But yeah, that was like, and if you look at the old, and then the Hulu, they also took they ended up redoing a darker, more adult version of the Hardy Boys. I didn't really watch it though.
They also, yeah, all streaming services doing. Remember Netflix made
Yeah.
Fuller House?
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
It was like a sequel to Full House, which I thought was probably they should have just let Full House rest
Yeah, I know.
to keep it
And that,
original.
I know. The problem is like even on like actually I was reading something. I didn't really read the whole thing though. I read that they're gonna do a season 7 of Totally Spies.
I did read that too. Look what they were gonna do with the Powerpuff Girls. Remember they found the whole cast. They were making a live one.
Yeah, actually, the cast was very interesting. I would have been interested to see how the story was going to go, but like I said, certain reboots are good, but like look how many. Oh, like look at the TV shows they rebooted with. Look at the TV show they also rebooted Lethal Weapon. They turned into a TV show like years ago. Then they did the same thing with Rush Hour. And the Rush Hour TV show only lasted like I think only 1 or 2 seasons, and Lethal Weapon lasted actually 4 or 5 seasons. And I was just like, the beginning of
They're
the
a hit or a miss. That's what it is. I mean, even basically, like we said in the other podcast, movies,
yeah.
but they're just running out of ideas.
Yeah, well that's because every field is played out. I mean,
Look what they did with the Clone Wars, Zach. Remember Star Wars: The Clone Wars?
yeah.
Years later, they released a new season on Disney Plus. It was like years and years later.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's because I think they did that on purpose because of it got into because it was also a tie-in to Revenge of the Sith. And but what I thought was interesting is that how and the anime, but the thing is see, they did a lot of spin-off shows after that. Like they did that Bad Batch series, and then there was the Bad Batch series, and there was that other and they kept redoing Star Wars spin-off stuff, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Skeleton Crew. I really didn't care much for those.
Yeah, they have them on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't watch. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I watched a little bit of it, and I was just skipping through it, and I just go, oh, really?
Because even though it's Disney, they're still trying to drag out the franchise.
Yeah, like Skeleton Crew. Even did you ever watch Skeleton Crew or no?
No.
Yeah, no, it wasn't my favorite TV show either. I did like. I will say this: I did like The Mandalorian was good, and I liked Ahsoka.
I didn't see either one of them.
Oh, I like them.
I'm not big on spin-offs.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, too, is what I like them only because it's interesting, because it kind of shows you parts where it talked about like the Mandalorian was way after, because it really does. Because in the original films, if you look at it, it doesn't tell. It shows you what happens to a lot of different people throughout the galaxy afterwards.
Look at even in the 90s. That well, really, it was the late 2000s.
Late night.
And they did a spin-off of Friends. They made one called Joey, and it was just a story of Joey Tribbiani.
Oh man, it's like whatever.
It failed. Horrible.
Yeah, and like you said, like all of them are hit or misses, and I don't even know why like the TV shows are still doing them anymore.
Because they need money and there's nothing else. Look what they did with Kim Possible. They made an animated TV show and then they did a movie that was live.
Yeah, I know that was such, but that
Well, then
was
again, they did do animated TV movies, like the TV movies
yeah.
that were not in theaters. They did do them.
Yeah, but the problem with those ones, they're very hit, like you said, though, they're also hit or miss. Like I watched clips of that live action Kim Possible, and I just thought it was kind of dumb.
They're running out of ideas.
Yeah, we'll look at what they did. We'll look at how many times, like even actually the longest running show also was Power Rangers, and I watched it. I think the last one I watched was Jungle Fury. Then after that,
Mystic Force was the best.
yeah, I watched. Yeah, I've seen bits of the first season. I didn't really catch on some of the others, but like I did watch Dino Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder. I watched SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury was really
He
cool.
just named a whole bunch of ones that they spinned off because they like the concept. And at the end of the day, wasn't it the same story, just in a different location and a different Power Ranger?
Well, it's not just that. What I found boring about Power Rangers later on was like, so the stories are different, but the theme is same recurring.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, the
It's the
theme
same
was just
theme.
recurring. They take these teenage kids who have like attitude, whatever, and then attitude, whatever. But then it's like they're none of the, first off, they don't pick any. I find it strange that they don't pick any adults. And like, why are you using like teenagers? And like, and also too is I felt like some of the, and also noticed some of the villains were just really like nowadays. I'm like, that is serious.
Yeah.
Hmm?
It's like Power Ranger. Like
Yeah,
a phone.
I know. I know. And then I'm just like I said, man, it just got. I thought the best villain I thought was cool looking was Mesogog from Dino Thunder. And I did like his two other minions, but like I said, some of the monsters they created were kind of cool. But like I said, that and then in the beginning ones, all of them looked like they were all from like they were all looked so ridiculous.
I mean, you even know how many Batmans did they make that were animated? They're still going to this day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think. Well, I know they did. I think there was an older. I know they did. There was Batman and Superman, the animated series from the late '90s. I also know. I also know as you have the Batman Beyond was very very cool.
Beyond
Um.
was good. I do remember that.
Oh yeah, and then they did another one where it's called Beware the Batman. Then they did Batman Brave and the Bold.
I
Oh,
remember that.
oh yeah, that was so funny. But I just
That
don't like.
was, I mean, look at Teen Titans. Look what they have now.
Yeah, I know. I read that they were supposed to go back to the original, but then they. Oh, and that's the other thing too. I was going to mention. Remember that live action Teen Titans TV show they tried to do, and that kind of blundered.
Well, they were like cursing. It was more towards adults.
Yeah, but I felt like even then it was like seriously, this is the
It
best
had
you.
Beast Boy in it, right?
They had Beast Boy. Then eventually they did
Starfire.
Hawk and Dove. Then they eventually brought in Beast Boy, Raven, and then
The regular
Super
Teen Titans.
Cyborg.
Yeah, I know. I know who they are. I was saying in the trailer, they didn't show Cyborg. They only showed Beast Boy and
Yeah,
Robin.
yeah, Starfire, Hawk and
What was
Dove.
the opening when he goes? fuck Batman.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, dude. It's just crazy how.
That was HBO, I think, right?
Yeah, HBO tried doing it, and I tried watching it, but it kind of didn't. It just did not click with me at all.
Yeah.
All, but I don't know. So, do you have
Even
anything to add?
well, there's so many ones out there that I can't even name. It's basically ridiculous. And not to mention, it's not going on the same channel. Now you have to have Hulu, Peacock, all the streaming services just to continue the after story.
Yeah, I know, and I kind of find it lame. Like, and I'm like, why? And that's another form of like we were talking about a lot in the last episode about how that's all corporate like profit right there.
Everything's leading into corporate. Look how long South Park's been running.
Yeah, I mean, South Park I like because also the way they make fun of stuff is so hysterical.
It is funny. What was it? Creed. No, Cred. Did you see that episode?
No.
They were hooked on Creed, Cred or whatever it was, Logan Paul's drink.
Oh yeah. I thought that Batman one was funny. Remember where Randy that episode where Randy was getting drunk, he would go to baseball games and he would just like get drunk and get into fights. And then he got into
Yeah.
that fight with that Bat Dad guy, and it was just so
Even
hysterical.
even continuing the seasons and dragging it out.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know what? I will always be a fan of South Park. South Park, but South Park's rule is awesome. Like, and then also too is then on Hulu they decided to do an extra 2 seasons for Futurama because I think it stopped at season 10, and then they extended it to another 2 seasons. And I watched the newer episodes and they were okay, but I just felt
It's
like,
not the same as watching it when you're growing up with it.
well, there was some cursing and some adult stuff in it, but that was geared more toward I think I would say maybe like 14 to 15-year-olds.
So I'm saying we were at the age then when we found it funny.
Yeah, and like, well, also too is I felt like they dialed down the jokes because of all the political correctness that's been going on. And I was just like, yeah, this isn't real South. This isn't real Futurama.
It's just running out of ideas. But all right, guys, this is Anthony Michael signing off.
And I'm Zachary. Peace out.
We'll see you on the next video.